Hey there. Okay, so I watched a video by I am Stephco, and the video, she was basically talking about it's not like a rebuttal, but it was like her opinions about Kevin Samuels. So I guess her channel is a lot smaller than Kevin's was. She has like 200,000 subs, and he had like a million or something. But she did a video on pretty privilege, and he ended up reviewing that video. Like, okay, that's fine or whatever. Now, here's one of the things she brought up though. She was like, yeah, there's this documentary on the vanishing black family. So she brings up the video. She just put a little clip in it, and I went and I watched some of the video. And here's one thing. I've only been watching it for like 5 minutes, but here's what I've learned from it so far. Um, okay, so there's like this group of really young black mothers. They all seem to be about like 18, and they have children, or they're maybe younger than this, because some of them I think like 15 or something. So these are like high school pregnant women, high school pregnant black women who were impregnated in high school, and they had the children. And so the thing is, if you're 15, you actually don't know how to take care of yourself yet, as in like you probably don't have a job, you probably don't have an apartment, like you probably don't have a lot of the things that you need to like survive in society. So you're not actually ready to be a parent. And then let's go back to Stephco's video for a moment, because she mentions, she's like, you know, some people are making fun of black women who decided to go to college and are over 35 and are not married or whatever. And, oh geez, I've got to say, there really is something to purpose and to biology that I think a lot of people are like missing. So the issue is actually not with black women. Like the issue is definitely with black men. And so there's this like false. I think we're describing things that are not. We're describing things that don't necessarily make sense. We're not talking about like, I'm not talking about high value men at all, but we are talking about men who have the ability to be fathers. Okay, and all women have the ability to be mothers. So just because like they are literally biologically created to birth children, so that's how it goes. So I definitely wouldn't say that the black mothers that I see here are like bad mothers. They're simply like black women who are living in poverty, which is a very real thing. But there's other things happening in that community where it looks like so many people living in that community grew up without fathers, and then they were kind of continuing with this narrative of like, I don't need a father in the home. That's very strange. I don't know like why you would feel that way, or why that would be true. Like you definitely need a father. In order to raise a child, you need a family. Like you need both parents. So I think that most people who are under the guise of like one parent is enough, like a healthy family does comprise of two parents. I honestly believe that, and that's despite race. But in the case of this like teenage motherhood in poverty, like you're not really, and I feel like a lot of people, it's not just women in the black community, but there are preponderance of women in the black community who don't understand that like if you're living at home with your parents and you have a boyfriend or something, you actually might want to wait to start having sex with that boyfriend until you guys are living on your own, just because there's a potential that you could become pregnant, and you don't want to become pregnant in your parents' home, because who's going to take care of your parents? Are not there to take care of your baby. It's your child, not your parents' child. And I feel like that is something that a lot of like white families understand, that unfortunately black women and some other women of color like don't yet. And it's very strange, but it's a very simple rule that actually makes a lot of sense. It's like and I too, I'm kind of guilty of this, because I'm sometimes I can be very fluid or like really into hookup culture, but I think that I'm going to stop because I should probably like practice what I preach. But there are just so many things that can like go wrong with, you know, with hookup culture really, and um, there's just no reason to like subject yourself to that because it's stressful, it's expensive, and it could be like life threatening. It could be life threatening, and that is kind of beyond what you probably want to go through, right? Like, you probably want to live. And here's another thing, like, I don't think it's fair to like chastise women who didn't grow up with fathers for whatever reason. Like, the lack of fatherhood in the black community is real, and I think some people like to like laugh at black women or be like, you guys are so hideous, you're so awful, or say all of these, you know, things about black women. I don't think that that's real. I think that, you know, people like to give black women a lot of slack and a lot of shit basically for not being like pushovers. Um, while also black men are really out here just not really being accountable. And so I think some of the issue is like black men are affiliating generational wealth that maybe like some white women have that black women don't, and then thinking it's the black women in themselves who are like less than or trash. It's like, well, okay, economics is real. Like, some people just have more access to wealth. But then there's other really strange things where like it does feel like some of the people who are following Kevin Samuels, or maybe not just him, but some of the black men who I feel like have these negative ideas or stereotypes about black women, um, kind of like fail to recognize sort of the systems in which we live and why people, black women specifically, are forced to adapt. So, like, let's say that you didn't learn a lot about like marriage markets or partnership or, you know, man, so many things by the time that you were 18. If you didn't learn those things until you're 25, well, you can't even start dating effectively until that age. So, you know, once you are that age and you can finally start to, how do you say, like, have thoughts and conversations about, um, you know, how to date effectively with the new information that you have, um, I really don't know. Watching this documentary is actually very sad. It's just like, I mean, it's like over and over. It's like these men all day are like listening to their boom boxes, listening to music. They're, you know, they're going around and they're dancing and stuff. And I think that's great, but like, okay, who's working? Everyone's like always dancing. Like, who's actually working? Like, someone has to, like, capitalism is real. Like, people have to go to work. This is what I mean about like this idea of a system. And I think some things in society are broken. I guess there was like another mass shooting today. Like I said, these things don't surprise me. We're gonna have so many more of them, and it's because society is broken. All men need partners. Like, the men do not do well on their own. They need if they're gay, they need, you know, gay romantic partners. If they're straight, they need female romantic partners. They do need partners. And I think women to an extent need partners too, but women tend to fare better without partners. I feel like women can get dogs and be like just fine. I don't know if that's the same for men though. I wouldn't say that it is. I don't think it is. um, and because of that, I feel like, because of that, I feel like people are forced to, um, people are forced to start to, I don't know, because you can't. It's almost like if you need to drink water, and the water is coming out of a fountain, you need a cup. There's not really a replacement for a cup. I suppose you could use a bowl as a cup, but you'd still kind of need a cup. So that's what I'm trying to like find a, because like in Stephco's video, she was making the point that a lot of these men have done something. It's not necessarily divesting, but they've done something where they're like, well, I'll just be single. That's my solution is now I'm just going to be single. And there are a lot of single black men out here, like so many. There's so many. They're just single, and a lot of them are just like thinking like they're gonna be okay. And like, you know, I've come across some in the last year, some who are living unhappily in marriages, and it's just kind of like, it's very weird. Like, you can tell that they like need to be in partnerships with people, and the weird part is I don't understand. It will never make any sense to me to see men, you know, talking down on their own women, like black men who are like, black women are ugly. It's like, she looks just like you. So you're calling yourself ugly? Like, that doesn't even, that makes a ton of sense, right? It's like, no, it doesn't. You should probably learn to love yourself. Everyone, honestly, should probably learn to love themselves. Like, that's really important, but especially black men. I mean, it's kind of, it's gross. I'm gonna turn off the documentary because it's kind of trauma porn, but it is ridiculous to watch it. It's from like 1986. I'll link it in the description box to the video. But all in all, I think that people do fare better in relationships, and they should probably get into relationships. And I think more people need to have, one way to say it is like boundaries, standards, just kind of like understand red flags to basically bypass in relationships. Like, I don't like smells. I don't really like fat people. I don't like poverty. I don't like dilapidated housing. I don't like crime-ridden neighborhoods. I don't like people who have a poor taste in food or who don't know how to cook. Yeah, I mean, all of those things kind of make me really unhappy. They just do. And everyone has their own. I think this is another reason why, you know, I'm kind of content spending quite a lot of time on my own. Because by spending that time on my own, I have to deal with any of those things from, you know, men specifically who attribute those things, and I'm just like, I don't really want that. I don't really want that in my life, you know. Like, I would be happy being alone, and you don't have to feel like that. You could feel a different way. I also want to say this and be very serious about it. There are lots of men who really do want wives. I feel like a lot of those men are actually in church, not even in a joking way. But a lot of the like religious men who go to church actually do want wives, and a lot of those men are black. So, you know, if you find yourself being a black woman and you're like, I want a husband, I mean, it feels like church is a very safe space to find one. I also think that there are a lot of, you know, moral and ethical people who are not in church. So I'm not saying that if you don't go to church, like, you are immoral or you have no morals. Like, I'm not out here saying that. I don't believe that. There's something else I was going to say. Yeah, I think you just have to wait. You know, you have to like show up, but you have to wait for someone who's going to show you commitment. And I think it has to start with you showing yourself commitment. So you have to be like, I'm committing to myself. I'm committing to providing a healthy life for myself. And then once you do that, then you have to provide a healthy life. Well, you don't have to, but you're in a good position to provide a healthy life for a family. And things start breaking down, when one of those things don't work.